everybody. Welcome to Live at 5. We are so grateful to have you with us.
Come on.
It's Tyler and Gabe. It is really, really good to be with you. Again, if you are missing Mark Van Pletzen, he's off this week, so we'll see him again next week. But we're going to make do with the best, the duo, the deadly
stunt
duo.
double.
There we go. But today, we are very excited. We have got something
Tell
really
us why,
specific to talk to you about. We're going to be talking everything to do with coffee.
Coffee! Where's my coffee?
There we go. Tonight on Miami Vice, Crocker gets the Bossa coffee. That's from Ace Ventura. But anyway, let's move on. We really are excited because actually we know that in this time of lockdown, they can take our freedom, but they
cannot take our coffee.
So true, so true. So we're really excited. So we've got the expert
Unless
Tyler.
obviously your supplier is out of stock, in which case I'm sure they'll get soon.
Yeah. So
But
we're
that's
really excited.
besides the point.
So we're really, really excited, and we've already got a few people jumping on. We've got a guy, Tyler Rowe from Zimbabwe, saying you've got a great name. So we'll say
Thanks,
that.
Tyler. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Right
but
back at
here
you.
we're going to go. We've got an expert, so we're going to go through a few memes just to help us get into the swing of things. Then Tyler's going to take us through some of his apparatus.
I've got some apparatus.
And I'm going to ask you, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, send us through any coffee-related questions.
I can answer any question you send me.
He is like the epitome of knowledge on coffee. So send through any question.
Unless, of course, it's a difficult question, in which case I might send you to Google, but I'm available to
we'll
try my best.
So why don't we have a look at a few memes very quickly, just to get us into the swing of things this Wednesday.
Come on, meme number one.
Meme number one. Here we go. This is a cat, and it says, I wouldn't say I would die without my morning coffee. I'm just saying other people might. And there's a cat looking a little bit nervous with that.
Well, one thing we know is if you put a cat on any meme, people will find it humorous. And this cat has donuts.
Yeah, he's got donuts. So let's just go through. The memes aren't the central figure today, but we want to talk. Tyler, tell us about this one a little bit.
Decaf coffee, you mean brown sadness water?
Yeah.
Very humorous, I like that. And actually, if you drink decaf coffee, you cannot grow a moustache like that. It is impossible.
That's why I don't drink decaf coffee, because I'm trying to work this moustache.
Only single shots, you'll get a small moustache like that.
Are you averse to decaf coffee? Quickly.
I've only drank it once in my life, and I didn't enjoy it.
Didn't enjoy it. All right, let's move on.
I would say no.
Reasons why I'm currently alive. You can see it by this graph. This is a scientific graph. Green says nutritious diet, blue oxygen, red is adequate sleep, but the brown is coffee. So coffee is keeping people alive, and we know it to be true.
Yeah, it has to, because right now you can't go to restaurants, you can't do anything like that. So actually your morning coffee is what you've got to hold on to in life at the moment.
Just want to take a quick moment. Mark Van Pletzen himself is watching us online. So here we go. Hey, this is the roles are reversed, Mark. The roles are reversed. There we go.
Telephone joke about
Last meme very quickly. Just give me the coffee and nobody gets hurt. This is a polar bear who should not be handling heavy machinery, especially something
polar bears in general should not handle electric saws of any kind.
We've got one more, and this is the biblical one, just for the biblical scholars.
How does Moses make his coffee? He brews it.
Never gets old. Never gets old. There we go. So you can tell we are Christians at this time.
If you're looking for a great name for your coffee shop that you opened post-lockdown, He Brews. Brilliant name.
There we go. Wonderful. So with that out the way, we're going to get to coffee. So
have we got some questions, Gabe?
The questions are coming. Not yet. Tyler, people just making comments saying hello. Tyler said hi, Bade. Is that a new nickname?
And by Tyler, you mean Kate?
I mean your wife, Kate. You're one and the same. One thing. But anyway, but it's really good, very exciting. Tyler, tell us about your passion for coffee. Is it a passion for coffee, or is it a passion against bad coffee?
I think many, many years ago, when I was a wee young man, someone gave me a bad cup of coffee, and it really hurt me. And so from that day on, I vowed that I would rid the world of terrible coffee.
Okay, there we go. So it's a vision that's gripped your heart.
Deep inside.
Gripped your taste buds
you,
as well.
Local church, me making sure.
There we go. There we go. But yeah, here's a testimony for you that I wasn't passionate about coffee. Still not passionate, but I'm a lot better off than I once was.
Suddenly saying, hi, Gilbert.
There we go. So,
hello, Gilbert.
The conversation's happening between people. But Tyler, why don't you take us through a little bit? You've got a whole bunch of apparatus.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to help you. If you're at home, you're sitting at home, you're wondering, are you used to the morning drive, you go to the same spot, you love their coffee, and right now they're closed and you can't get access. What we're going to do is we're going to start at really simple and build our way up to a little bit more complicated. But actually, we want to help you make your morning great again.
Oh, come on, I love it. I like that. There we go. The Donald Trump of coffee.
I like it.
Where do we start? So we start at the base level.
The base level, it's hard for me actually to bring this out on a live show. But this here, this is not great. But if it's all you have, the rule of thumb is put the milk in first, 2 teaspoons, and stir vigorously.
Wonderful.
and then throw it down the drain.
Ah, there we go.
But if you can't throw it down the drain, drink it first. So this is where we're going to start, but actually preferably I'd like to just put that away now.
Okay, helpful.
Is that helpful to you guys?
We've got a good base level. We're working up from there. Okay,
I like it. So what we're going to
Nescafe,
start with
not so
is
much.
the plunger. The Old
Right.
Faithful. Many of you might actually have this in your cupboard right now and you don't even know it. You might have received it as a Christmas gift and weren't too sure what this particular apparatus was. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run you through a couple of simple basics that will help you make exceptional coffee. The first one
Let's do it.
is this little guy over here. Many of you at home might have this. It's a kitchen scale. If you have one, it's helpful. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. But what we know is that if you put the same amount of coffee into your brew, you get the same flavor out of your brew. Come on, that'll preach. So if you've got one of these, really, really helpful. I've already measured the coffee for today because we don't have endless amounts of time. So we're going to start off with this little guy. I love this guy. What else you need? Really, really simple. You need some hot water. This is a very trendy hot water apparatus, as Gabe would say.
Wow.
So
Wow,
this is
wow.
what they call a gooseneck kettle. You don't need one of those. If you have a general kettle at home, it works perfectly fine. When we don't have this, we use a normal kettle. Boil up your water and then...
Quick
Go,
question.
Gabe.
I see questions are coming, we'll get to them, but tell then if a normal kettle suffices, I'm not being facetious here, but then why would you spend money on something like this?
So this was
Despite
actually...
looking, maybe you just want to look pretentious, is that the reason, or is there...
Pretentious? Mwah.
When you use French words to follow pretentious, then you know you are pretentious.
So this was
Tell us.
actually a gift from our good friend Edwin van den Heever.
Okay.
Very, very nice man. The reason that you want one of these is to not be too scientific, but you want a controlled pour. So what that means is you want the water to come out at the same rate as you're making the coffee. With this particular plunger scenario, you don't have to worry too much about that, but I'm going to use it because I think it looks cool, it's copper, and people think it's trendy, and we're on live television. So I
Okay,
think it's
cool.
the right thing to
That's
do.
helpful.
So what you want to do, you've got your coffee, you've ground your coffee. One thing I will say is if you have a grinder at home, use a grinder. They are so helpful. If you don't, you can go to any store. They'll have coffee pre-ground for you. But one thing we know is if you grind at home, you get the best flavor out of your coffee. So even if you have a simple blade grinder, you can get them for 300 Rand
There
at
we go.
Checkers. They're really, really helpful. If you don't, get some pre-ground coffee. And what you're going to do is, so what I've got here is 18 grams of coffee. So for every cup out of your plunger, you're going to put 18 grams in.
Hence the scale.
Hence the scale, very helpful. If you don't have a scale, kind of work to a rule of thumb of 1 heaped tablespoon per cup. So
Okay.
that makes it a bit easier for you at home, Gabe. Tablespoon, the big spoon,
Yes.
teaspoon, the small spoon. Helpful information.
That's helpful.
So what you're going to do, pour that in there, really, really easy. And then another area that the scale comes in really handy, which we're going to pop on here, is for every cup, you probably want to put in about 300 mils of water. So most of you will have a thing at home that kind of gives you a measurement of that. So if you're doing 2 cups, so 36 grams of coffee, you're going to use 600 mils of water. It's just really helpful. The reason we follow these things, you want it to taste the same every time. You want it to taste great every time. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour our water in. I've got a stopwatch on my phone. So 300 mils per cup, 18 grams of coffee, and 3 minutes brew time. So we're going to start that off, and we're just going to pour over here. I'm just doing 1 cup. And while I do that, Gabe's going to read some
Yeah,
comments.
there's some good comments coming through, and some of them are my own wife, who is now very excited. She's whooping, saying this is the most important one ever, this episode, because
We had 170 mil.
just giving us an update. But I'm the coffee maker in our home, so my wife
Wow.
is, and I've had comments sometimes it's inconsistent. So I'm
Yeah,
being
there we
dead
go.
honest. Sometimes I chuck as many as it looks normal, but I'm learning.
You just look at it and hope for the best.
So if it's dark enough, it's
Does
good
your
enough.
wife sometimes drink your coffee but only take 2 sips and throw it out?
No, she's vigilant. She's a good wife. She
Oh,
drinks it,
wonderful.
but she doesn't smile sometimes through it.
So what you want
yeah.
to do is give this a good... That's very good, helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabe.
Just want to be honest.
So give it a good stir. There we go. So and really, you can get some great coffee. Artillery Coffee, great brand, 65 Rand for a 250 gram bag. If you want to spend a little bit more, go to Checkers. I'm just saying it's helpful. But basically, you want to give this a good stir.
There we go.
The
So
water
this
in
is for 1 cup of coffee, yeah, right now.
1 cup, and then you're going to let this guy run for 3 minutes. So really, really simple. You pop it off to the side. You can enough time for you to quickly get that bagel in the oven, quickly get some toast in the toaster to have
Yeah.
with your wonderful Java.
Okay, again, not just because I'm really simple, just remind me through Kate is asking the ratios again. So it's 18 grams.
18 grams per cup, 300 mils of water, 3 minutes of brew time. So
got
at
it.
home,
Here we
when
go.
I make
Brilliant.
for a plunger for
Come
my
on.
wife in the morning, and she, so lo and behold, my wife is actually better at making plunger coffee than I am.
Yeah.
It always tastes better, but it's just because of the love that she puts into
Yep.
it. But we use 36 grams, we put 600 mils in, and it tastes phenomenal. We're at a minute 37.
Good.
So while that happens, I'm going to introduce you to another way of making coffee.
Well, it's all happening here. Just to let you know, Michelle, we will get to your question. I'm going to ask that one at the end because I think it's a great one to post them. But keep your questions coming through, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook. Seriously, we'll ask them all to him. Come on, no questions too hard for this man. Look at him go. Sorry, carry on. Just carry on. What happened there, Tyler?
So what we're going to do now, we're going to jump into one of my absolute favorite ways of making coffee. It is called an AeroPress. AeroPress, amazing little machine. A lot of guys have got these at home. It is world famous. There are in fact AeroPress World Championships as to who can make the best AeroPress. Can you believe it?
And when did you win it, Tyler?
I haven't won it recently, but
Okay,
I always say if
just
you
checking.
don't enter, you can't lose. So
True. There we go. Just
the
great things to
policy that I run my
Good.
house by.
Carry on. Yep.
So what we're going to do with this guy, this is also equally simple. If you have some budget, these guys go for around 600 Rand on Takealot, which is really helpful. And this is all you need. This and a paper filter is all you need to make a phenomenal cup of coffee. So because we can't brew this way because all the water will come out, we turn it around, we put it on its head. And this little guy is the filter holder, which goes on the bottom. And these paper filters you can get at Peacock Coffee, at any place that sells that sort of stuff. And you just pop it in there.
Peacock Coffee for people who are not in our vicinity. That's a little coffee shop
in Tableview, but actually any coffee supplier really, and on Takealot you can buy these guys.
Okay,
So Takealot is the way to go
Helpful.
in this situation. I like it. Good question, Gabe. Very helpful.
Yeah.
So, and actually what's amazing about this, so you can experiment. If you want to do 20 grams, if you want to do 2 tablespoons, coffee is about you. It's about your flavor.
Yeah.
It's about what you enjoy. This is what I enjoy. So what I generally do is I do 20 grams of coffee in the old AeroPress there, and obviously you want
But
to
here's the
use
thing.
something.
If you don't enjoy what somebody who says they're an expert in coffee doesn't enjoy, you're wrong. So
Yes,
There we
yeah,
go.
but,
Good, just
but
learning.
we're trying
I'm
to be nice
learning
to the
here.
people because we want them to come back next week. Yeah?
Good.
Cool. So we're on 3 minutes with this guy. Gabe is going to be our taste tester for the day.
Ooh, what a privilege. You know, some perks
What
of the
an
job.
opportunity. So we're going to, and this apparatus is particularly complicated. You just have to press down.
Okay, there we go.
Phenomenal for you, Gabe.
Hence
Just
AeroPress.
Press down. No, this is a plunger. This is
Plunger.
a-
AeroPress. Learning.
Okay, Gabe, you ready?
You're never too old to learn.
So super helpful piece
Yeah.
of advice that I've told all my friends who use plungers. Many people brew it, they push it down, and then they leave the coffee in the plunger for their second cup. Pour the coffee out. The reason for that is the grinds at the bottom and the water keep extracting, and so it progressively gets more and more and more bitter. So that's just a helpful piece of advice. I tell everyone, pour it out. If you've got a jug at home, once it's finished brewing, pour it out. You will have consistent flavor. If you leave it in there, you're going to find it's going to get more and more and more bitter, which you don't want to be the case.
Consistency, consistency, consistency.
Come on.
Yeah?
Right. So now we've got
Must
our...
I taste this? Not yet? Must I wait?
whenever you're ready.
No,
Gabe.
I'll wait
we-
till you give me the go ahead, Tyler.
I'll give you the go-ahead when I'm ready. Just give you the go-ahead,
Yep.
Gabe. Thank you. Any questions there, Gabe? I'm
Well,
excited.
one person asked where can they get artillery coffee from? And,
On the website. Just go
yeah, there you
to, and by the website, I mean the Instagram and Facebook page, Artillery Coffee. So that would be the best place to go.
And I love just to let you know that your wife did put the link to that. So didn't even have to ask you. I just thought I'd see if the team were working.
So what we're going to do, this is a really
Well done,
easy
Kate.
one. Awesome. 20 grams of coffee, 150 mils of water. This is where the gooseneck comes
we
in
go.
really handy because you can do this sort of stuff.
This is what the young people, they would start saying stuff
how
like, do the gooseneck.
trendy.
Do the gooseneck at this time. Am I right?
Do the gooseneck.
Probably not.
You've gotten me into something here. This is quite
Here we
dangerous.
go. Okay.
So this little guy, you're going to take it up to 150 and you're going to brew it for about 2 minutes. So we're on 150 there.
So why this one for 2 minutes and the other one for 3 minutes?
So a little bit more of a concentrated area, so it's a smaller funnel, so the coffee and the water are reacting a little bit faster. And actually you want a slightly different flavor. You want a lighter flavor, a crisp flavor with this particular way of making coffee. And then as you'll see, there's a little filter in here. And what you want to do is you just want to pour a little bit of water onto that filter, just so that your coffee doesn't taste like paper. It's a helpful thing. You're going to let that brew.
Helpful
which
tip.
I trust that's helpful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. People being educated. We've got actually we're very trendy here
Yeah.
at Live at 5. We're not going to be putting these into mugs. We're going to be putting these into glasses. How trendy.
How come I got a mug here then?
That's for you, Gabe.
We've progressed since the start of the show. Can you have a sip? So now I'm having a sip of the plunger. What am I? There's obviously I put milk in my coffee, but I'm not doing it tonight.
So what is wonderful is plunger coffee is great to have black or with milk, which is really, really
Here we
nice.
go.
How are you finding that, Gabe?
Delicious, Tyler. Delicious.
You know what I like
Two thumbs up.
about Gabe? He's so positive, he'll tell you it's nice even if it's terrible.
No, it is really nice. I must say, I'm enjoying this.
So you want to give this guy a little stir. We're 1:10 in, which is really exciting. I trust the people at home are enjoying the informative, coffee-esque conversation. Our last apparatus, as Gabe calls them, for the evening this is called a Hario V60. It's a really, really trendy name for a piece of plastic that is in a V, which makes it pretty easy to brew coffee.
Yep.
What's awesome about these guys is you can get them online for about 120 Rand. And you can get different sizes if you want to make 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups. They kind of cap out at 4 cups at a time. But just a super helpful thing. So we're at 1:40 here. And this guy is where the gooseneck kettle is really helpful because it means that your pour is consistent. So for all the geeks out there, if you want to get yourself one of these, they're not super expensive. This is a very trendy one, which was a gift. But actually, you can get them. You can even buy a watering can. They do the same thing. I know, it's amazing.
But with this, you get the respect of your peers.
Yes.
And anyone who gets invited to your home once lockdown is over, or you can Instagram it and get.
And actually, its best viability is Instagram. That is why you purchase. Okay, so we're at 2:10 with this guy. So we're going to pop. Oh, just make sure our filter's in properly. Going to pop our filter on, and this is where this little guy gets really cool. Is you close that up. If only it would close. There we go.
Yep. All right.
Close it up. And then this is where it gets really fun for all of you who are adrenaline junkies. You pop the glass on the top.
Oh, come on.
Woohoo! And then flip it around. Come on.
It's all happening. AeroPress
And
in
then,
action.
and as the name suggests, you press. And for
And
those of you who'd like to see, we've got our camera on the apparatus.
So now, for somebody who doesn't work out as much as you, Tyler, with this one, would I need some
A little bit slower,
a little bit slower, a
or
lot
get
of
your wife
muscle?
to help you.
Maybe Fiona will have to help me with this one.
Because
Okay,
Fiona does
cool.
gym more than you do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good. Yep, that's true. It is. I'm not
And
even
there we
gonna
go.
deny it.
So what is great is if this is a little bit strong for you, you can add extra water to taste. So I often add about 150 mils of extra water to it, and
But
it
that's
tastes
looking a little bit weaker than
beautiful.
this
It
one here,
isn't.
obviously.
It looks, but it isn't.
Okay,
So we're going to add a bit, Gabs, because I know this might be a bit strong for you.
that's a bit of
There we
offensive.
go. Right, Gabe. Gabe's going to rate these at the end. We've got 5 minutes left, so we're going to jump on the Hario. This is an amazing little piece of machinery. Oh, you're
Yeah.
enjoying it, eh?
Yeah.
You're going to take these home, Gabe.
Stick around for the rating at the end.
So the last one, this one's really great also because actually this one you can just put on top of your cup, which is really helpful. So coffee in immediately.
No mess, no fuss.
And then what you need is one of these wonderful little filters. You can also get them online. And actually, we'll post all the links to these in
I'm
the
just
comments.
seeing that the cameraman is zooming in close on my face often. I don't know if that's helpful, but thank you so much.
Okay,
Right,
so what we're going to do, we're going to pop our filter in here, and hopefully it stays in. And then the gooseneck is very helpful here because you just want to kind of, all you're doing here is you're wetting the paper because we don't want our coffee to taste like paper.
No, we don't. You don't want to pour it on your phone as well.
Yeah, but
Handy tip.
I do that quite frequently. So then you're going to take we're just going to get rid of the extra water here, which is going into a bucket. For those of you who thought I was throwing it
Off
on
camera,
the floor.
there's a bucket.
Off camera, bucket. On camera, Hario V60.
Okay, good.
Okay, then over here I've got between 18 and 20 grams. They all kind of land in that space, which is quite helpful. You can adjust this, but what you're going to do is, and what we want to do is we're going to need a little bit of extra water. So Gabe's going to give me a question while I top up my kettle.
Just want to say, if you're on Facebook and Instagram, we've got about 5 minutes left. So if you have a question, put it on now. We'll get Tyler to answer it. We've already got a couple lined up for as soon as the process is done. But if you have a question, get it in. We're really, really excited about that.
Just topping this guy up.
So here we go.
Lovely.
These are very good, by the way. I'm enjoying them.
I'm glad you are, Gab. I'm excited for the rating. So then all you do, take your ground coffee for that camera over there, right? Then we're going to pop it in there. And so this one takes a little bit longer and is a little bit more accurate. So what we're going to do is pop it on our scale. We're going to zero our scale. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of go for, so this one gets interesting. Your brew time here is about 3.5 minutes. So really simple. You zero your clock and you press play so that you know how long you've been going. And then kind of do your first 50 mils, which is there. And once you've done your first kind of 50, you're going to take a quick break. You'll be on about 10 seconds now, and then wait until about 30 seconds.
Flick to Instagram.
Yeah, have a quick check. Check all your
send, receive, emails.
check your if anyone slid into your DMs recently. Make sure that you've responded to those. Careful, careful. And then once you hit about 30 seconds, then you're going to continue to pour until you hit about 240 mils. So slow, easy pouring. There we go. We're on 100 now. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Do you want to give it a little smell, Gabe? It smells delicious.
Oh, smells like heaven, I tell you. I tell you. They should make a deodorant of this. I don't know. Just
Or
stop
what you
saying
can
things
do
that
at
just
home
pop
is
in
you
my
just
head.
take coffee grounds in your hands and rub them on
Aren't
your
they?
arms.
People always say
And,
they love the smell of coffee, but they just don't want it on your body.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, you do get many different scrubs that
No, it's true.
will get you experiencing coffee in a whole new way.
Yeah, good.
Okay, we're on 190 mils, and really what you're doing, what makes this so beautiful is the kind of drip effect of it. So it also
Yeah.
looks very trendy for if you want to make a quick Instagram video. And there we go. We're on 240, which
Some
is
great questions coming through. Stick around. We're going to be answering all of these briefly as soon as Tyler's done. I don't want to disturb the master.
Well, there we go. So we're on 1 minute 30, and what you're going to do is you're going to let this guy brew for another 1.5 minutes, and then it's ready to
Okay,
go.
while we wait for the 1 minute and a half, let's get to some questions
I'm
here.
ready.
Tyler, quickly, from Gail Diago, which blend is your favorite? What is your favorite type of coffee bean? Just take labels off it or make some, what is
Fair
it?
enough. A good question. So I love African beans, so any bean from Africa. So a big fan of Burundi, that's why I sell it. I'm really, really big fan of anything from Kenya and those are actually my two favorites. Really, really enjoy. So anything from Kenya, anything from Burundi, and then Ethiopia also make beautiful coffees.
So honestly, I'm a novice. When I go to the shops, I see Colombian, I see the South
So
American
Colombian
things.
is from South America,
Yes. I know.
Kenya and Ethiopia.
No, I get
in
that. I
Africa.
get that. But I'm saying, what would be the difference?
So all the difference is that they're grown in different places, and coffee gets its flavor, it varies in flavor depending on the height at which it is grown and the soil that it is grown in. So because Colombian or South American soil is quite different to African, and the heights are quite different that they are grown at, what you end up with is you get quite different flavor varieties. So in an African coffee, you'll often get a lot of fruitiness, you'll get a lot of that sort of thing, and in a coffee from South America, it's often very chocolatey, nutty, those sorts of flavors. And largely depends on what you like.
Okay, cool. Let's just keep going through
Hope
here
that's
very quickly.
helpful.
Yeah, want to ask quickly here, a very important one about milk. Coffee, just
Yes,
maybe
go.
this is a simple one, but milk in coffee, would you put the milk first or milk after?
So I would say my personal favorite is actually no milk at all.
Of course.
So if you can learn to drink coffee without milk, unless it's a flat white necessitates having,
course.
or a cappuccino, having milk. But actually we're all done here at 3 minutes, so we're going to pop that on there so it stops extracting, is
Yep.
the snazzy word we
All
like to use. And then actually what's so great is that's ready to go.
There we go.
There we go, Gabriel.
So this is the what did you call it? The Harriet. The
Hario V60.
The Harrier V60.
Pour over, some would
Wow.
call it.
Never had one of these before, but here we go.
So milk is amazing, and actually depending on the coffee that you are using, you're going to decide whether you put milk in it or not. So actually coffees from Africa often are best had with no milk in them because they're very fruity,
Okay.
as where coffees from South America and Asia often are a little bit chocolatier, a little bit fuller, warmer, and so you want to add some milk because it gives you that warm feeling inside.
Okay, that's helpful. All right, let's keep going. The coffee here. When is Suzelle coming? DIY coming for coffee? Sometime
That's a
soon.
great
The
question.
guest
You
for
could
Live at 5.
definitely email her on her
Let's
website.
see. Tyler, do you also mix blends for flavor?
I don't believe in blends. I'll tell you why I don't believe in blends. Because when they blend coffee,
They're
they
not
take,
biblical.
They're not in the
Okay,
Bible,
carry on,
number
sorry,
one. There's
apologize.
no blending in
Carry
the
on.
Bible. And secondly, when they blend coffee, they take 70 grams, in theory, of one bean and 30 grams of another. They chuck it into a bag together. And the challenge is you will never, ever, no matter how you pour that bag, you will get a different ratio every time.
So consistency
So,
is done throughout
no,
the window.
but it is a great budget saver because
Okay.
blends often have a variety of coffee called Robusta in
Yeah.
them, which is your lower grade. So you put a little bit of Robusta in a blend, it
Yeah.
makes the coffee cheaper.
Just to let you know, Bjorn is asking terrible, facetious questions, so we're going to leave Bjorn
Thank you,
aside.
Bjorn.
Thanks,
Much
Bjorn.
appreciated.
But Kate is asking one, I don't understand it myself, but is single origin really important?
I think, well, single origin really just, so when you hear trendy people say single origin, what they mean is it comes from one place. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
single origin. It's really not, and
I'm
actually,
sorry.
yes, that
Learning-
is the best
learning here today.
because you're getting the same flavor every time, and actually you're supporting a single farm, which
That's
I think
very
is a
good.
win.
So it's not a person who is not dating who goes to the coffee shop called Origin.
No.
That's where
But
my brain
actually,
went every time.
It is a great strategy if you are looking for someone
There we go.
Origin.
But after
after lockdown.
So here's another question that came a little bit earlier. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Can you tell us and this is putting you under pressure, so I haven't prepped him with this. Tell us your top 3 or top 5 coffee spots in Cape Town.
Ready?
Go. And this is not official. This is Tyler off the record, live at 5. Tell us.
Okay, ready to go. Number 1, my absolute favorite. It's a little bit different. They're a little bit eclectic, but number 1 would be Rosetta. I love their coffee, and actually
That's
their
in
coffee
Woodstock, eh?
in Woodstock
Yep.
and at the Silo District in the waterfront. They're a little bit more expensive, but a really, really amazing experience. Then I would have to say number 2 on my list would be Flat Mountain. They're my friends, and their in-cafe experience is really, really amazing. They make delicious coffee, so I would, and shout out to Gosh, the barista there, really, really gifted guy. So I would recommend there. My third favorite in the city would have to be, if I'm around there, I would say, I know this is the top 3 that everyone talks about, but there is a place in Sea Point, which is, the name has completely slipped my mind now, but it'll come to me in a moment. So I'll go to number 4. Number 4 would be Origin. I love Origin.
Nice.
Really, really great, great flavor. And then actually anywhere that stocks any of those coffees, you're probably going to get a good experience. So I would recommend.
Where does Life Changes Coffee on a Sunday rate in that ranking?
So if Brad Stevens is on barista, I would give it number 1.
Oh, there we go.
Any of the other baristas, number 2. No, I'm joking. You guys are phenomenal. We love you guys.
Nice.
Okay?
Very good. So we've got a comment. Paula Conradley says, I don't like coffee. And there we go.
Paula, I would recommend to you to have some tea then.
Give it a try. Michelle did ask, she's a non-coffee drinker. Is there something wrong with her? But more importantly, she said, where does she start? What's the first, if you're a non-coffee drinker, but you want to be a coffee drinker, where do you start?
I like it. So I would say go to a great cafe. Do not go to kind of your resident pop-in. Oh, I was going to say number 5 actually as a mainstream cafe place would be Seattle. They make really great coffee.
There we go.
So if you have a gap, if you're starting out, go to Seattle.
My wife says bootleggers.
Bootleggers also really, really good. They would be 7 or 8 on my list.
There we go. Okay.
But and it can be a bit hit and miss. But the point I was trying to make
Shots
about
fired, yeah.
boom, 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 coffee.
Let's go.
But I would say that I would go get a single flat white for your first coffee, and don't add sugar. The first sip is always difficult. The second one is challenging, but the third one is phenomenal.
Okay, let's put this to
You
the
ready?
test. Yeah. This was the
AeroPress.
AeroPress. Very nice. Hold on, I'll tell you which
This
is my
was the
favorite.
plunger.
Again, I'm not educated. This is me just having a go. Now, I'm used to the plunger because that's what I have at home. You know,
So it's familiar.
Familiar. Feels like home. This feels like an adventure, you know, like I'm on the high seas.
And this one feels like you're in an aeroplane hurtling through space.
Oh, honestly, very different. All of them are a little bit different.
And
Same,
that is
the
what's
same bean, eh?
Exactly the same bean, exactly the same
Wow, very
grind,
different.
actually.
No, I
with
really
different
enjoy.
methods.
Obviously, it's really quite tricky for me to be able to make a spot decision because, again, I'm not that type of guy. I want to
Well,
be
we've got
positive
30
about all of
seconds
them.
left, so you've
I
got to
really
make
like
a
the last
decision.
one. I really do like this one. This was good.
Awesome.
This one seemed the Harriet V60.
Yeah, the pour over.
There we go, the pour over, and it's not from the nation of Peruvia. It just means it's poured over.
Prova,
Yeah,
as the
but it's
French
really helpful.
would
So
say.
Tyler, very quickly, before we land,
Yes.
tell us, we've got Emma Rowlands as well, all the way from America, tuning in to get the
Hope
best
this is
information.
helpful.
The coffee edition. If you had to say again, you mentioned the ratios, you talked about consistency. Just remind us again, some of those important things to make a great cup of coffee.
Great. Make sure you have got fresh beans. If you can grind them, grind them. That's the rule number 1. Rule number 2, make sure you keep it consistent and only change one thing when you're making coffee. Make sure that you're, try and get even a kitchen scale. So really the biggest thing about making great coffee is consistency. So why do we use a kettle that pours slower rather than faster? It's more consistent. Why do we use a grinder rather than buying pre-ground? Because we can make sure it's the same every time, the way we like it. So if you can, make sure you have a scale, make sure you have a grinder, and you'll be making great coffee in no time. And if you've got a little bit of money, spend it on
come
buying yourself an AeroPress.
I hear my wife saying amen from all the way over here.
I love it.
Tomorrow morning's coffee is going to be lovely, Fiona. Get ready for that. I know I'm bringing the consistency to the table. It's going to be really good. This is
Epic.
Tyler Lynn. He is the man he works at Life Changes, but he's also got a coffee business on the side, so he knows a thing or two. And this has been the
Look
coffee
me up.
edition. Just a shout out, on Friday we have Vernon Philander, the cricketer, the South African international cricketer. He's going to be live at 5 on the screen. He's the fast bowler that has taken us to
Changed the
many
world.
test match victories, and one of a hero of mine. So very exciting. Join us for that on Friday.
Really
But Tyler,
excited.
give you the last word and send us on our way.
Friends, enjoy your coffee. Stay strong during lockdown. We love you. We're praying for you. And it was so good to be with you at Live at 5.
Cheers.